So I would like to welcome you all in Irish, and then I will attempt Spanish, but you'll have to forgive me for that bit. But diagoit is welcome. And buenos dias. Sorry. So basically, very much a pleasure to welcome you all here today. I think it's a very exciting collaboration that you're starting, and it's when it's most exciting, to be honest. It's the starting bit because it's all about the ideas and what can we do and where can we go. So oceans of collaboration, Galicia and Ireland in Marine Research and Biotech. That is the title of today's symposium, and it's very relevant. We have a lot of things in common between us, not the least of which is the Atlantic Ocean. So the main source of all of this. So before I begin, I would also like to sincerely thank and recognise the key organisations whose vision and initiative made this symposium possible. So that's BiOrbic. People pronounce it differently here, so don't feel bad if you get it wrong as well as me. And the Spanish Embassy as well, with special mention to Christian Font, who's head of mission there. Thank you, Christian. And also the Spanish Research Society in Ireland, which Alfonso is el presidente. Alfonso and I go way back, so that's why we're quite casual with each other. And I'm very casual with you because you're friends of Alfonso's. So good. So a very, very particular and big welcome to our friends, colleagues and collaborators who've travelled all the way from Galicia. So welcome. Your presence really underscores the importance of this commitment and your interest in having a shared vision with us to bring this whole thing together. Now I'd like to say a little bit about the swans at UCD and welcome you to UCD. The UCD's campus is actually one of Europe's largest urban campuses. It's quite big. It's almost an entire suburb in size. It features a mix of modern facilities and mature parkland. And there's a lot of history dating back to the 12th century here. So amongst the wildlife, the students thrive. Some of them become a bit wilder as a result of it, but it's okay. And you'll see many, many birds, swans on our ponds. And if you're lucky, you might also spy some urban foxes that live on the campus as well, much to the swans' dissatisfaction. I'm not very happy about that. But we also host the largest animal hospital in Ireland. So if the swans do get picked on by a fox, they've got a rescue mission right there. And there's an Olympic-sized swimming pool that they can move into if they, decide the foxes are too much this year. So we've also got a James Joyce library. You may have heard of him. Maybe a very famous Irish writer. He wrote Ulysses, which is a made-up, obviously fictional, and it's all about one day in Ireland. So there's even a cinema here on campus as well, which is kind of unusual. And it's home to many research centres in many, many academic areas. So I'm only beginning to see the tip of it myself, having been away for 14 years. And it's a very exciting place to be. So I welcome you all to campus. And I hope you get some time today or tomorrow to wander around some of the wilder paths, because they are really beautiful. And that's what makes UCD so special. Just to kind of wrap up, the ultimate goal today is to facilitate new and tangible collaborations with you. And we would like to see you plant the seeds today of partnerships that we can then watch and grow together into fruitful collaborations that span our universities, our research centres, our industries, and also all of our individual experts that are in the room today. The partnerships between Ireland and Galicia holds immense potential to become a powerhouse of European marine and blue technology research. It's through these joint initiatives like this and oceans of collaboration, that we can accelerate this discovery, drive economic sustainability, and ensure the health of the Atlantic for generations to come. So I encourage you to engage actively, lively, challenge the conversational and conventional thinking, and then speak out. Don't forget to speak out if you're shy. So form new connections, and they will help shape the future of our shared marine landscape. So thank you and very big welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Fiona Grant from the Marine Institute. I'd just like to say it is such a pleasure to be here, and I just really want to thank Alfonso and Christian and UCD for hosting us today. So I'm actually on the governance board of BiOrbic, and they do a wonderful job. I'm always so impressed by what's happening in UCD. But today is really about our links with Galicia, and my first trip to the northern part of Spain was as a young geologist, a postgraduate student. I did some mapping along the northern coast around Oviedo, and I am always struck about what I call the Atlantic character, and I see it when I go to Brittany and Brest. I see it in the northern part of Spain and Galicia, and there is absolutely incontrovertibly something in the air and the sea and the water and the rocks of our Atlantic community. So it is a huge pleasure to be here today on behalf of the Marine Institute. I won't say much more than that because I have some stuff in my slides, but thank you once again from Rick Officer, our CEO, and my colleague Patricia is here today, and thank you for the invitation. And as Kate said, it's about building collaborations and links, and yeah, we're here to help that. So thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I am Christian Font from Spanish Embassy, and just a few words just to thank you for being here and for participating in this symposium, and especially to those coming from far away, from Galicia in particular, but also from other parts of Ireland, like Fiona Marine Institute from Galway and representatives from Bantry Marine Research Center, which is 4 hours away from Dublin, or Ricardo, who comes from Castletownbere, more than 400 kilometers from here, from the headquarters of Eiranova, Nueva Pescanova. But we are not far from, we are in Dublin and at the UCD, so we have to thank UCD for being such a great host. This is a great university and a great campus, and I've been for almost 2 years in Ireland, and I cannot say that this is my favorite university in Ireland, but it's close to that, and I come here to this campus very often, and so I had to try several of the parkings now to try to find. So I managed finally to find a way. The idea of this kind of event is from Spain. There is a state plan on innovation, science, and technology. We want to boost the cooperation with other countries and with other institutions, and the idea is to bring together experts from one country and the other, and foster future collaboration. This is the idea of any scientific event. And together with Alfonso Blanco, who, as you know, who will speak after me, this idea of marine research, biotechnology between Galicia and Ireland has been an idea that's been on the table for a long time, and we're happy that we can bring you together to discuss, to present your work, and to boost this cooperation. The idea is that there are so many things in common, as you already said, between Galicia and Ireland. There was a program last Sunday on RT Lyric, on a program called Features, on the more historical, literary, and musical connections that there are many between the Ireland and Galicia, and they called, the title of the program was Our Half-Lost Cousins. So this is very true. No, the connections are very, very strong, and on this particular field of marine research and biotechnology, we would like to do more. On the side of the Horizon program that you all know, funded by the European Union, Spain and Ireland are already very strong collaborators, no? And universities and other scientific centers, as the Marine Institute, are very important. I already have a lot of projects together that I funded by Horizon Europe, no? And this field is one oceans. And the sea is already one of the priority. Oceans and waters is one of the 5 major missions of the Horizon Europe program, and this is something that we should try to boost in the future. Thank you, and I hope you will have a good time together, making contacts for this cooperation, and we will be here to learn from you today. Thank you.
Okay, so my time to talk. I'll try to be fast, but at the same time, I need to send some messages. So first of all, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for being part of this initiative that we really hope we can put together for the future, not just for today. Thank you very much to UCD for allowing me to do these things. That is more Spanish than flow cytometry. But I have to recognize this in front of someone from UCD. I think this is a good initiative that we're doing with the Spanish Research Society in Ireland. And that's who I'm representing here. I'm not working at this moment for UCD. Sorry for that. I'm working for the Spanish researchers that are working here in Ireland and trying to represent them today. So thank you very much to the Spanish Embassy. We were fighting for this initiative for a long time, more than 2 years already. But finally, it's happening. So thank you very much for all your support to make this happening. And thank you very much again to Vila, who was our counterpart on the other side, and Amanda for putting us in contact. Definitely he's worse than me. And thank you very much for also providing us the beers for this session in the afternoon. That we always know that a beer with English, it's a better English. So the initiative, as I said, is coming through the Spanish Research Society. Who is this group? So this is a 2016 initiative proposed by the Spanish ambassador in Ireland. And the idea was to join all the researchers that are coming from Spain, working and developing their job and the research here in Ireland, and trying to promote what we are doing in both directions, what we are doing in Ireland and what we can do in Spain, and trying to make the collaboration between the two countries. And also, we cannot forget about the divulgation to the younger. There's a lot of community here of Spanish or Spanish speakers that they have children, and we need to transfer our research to them. When I say research, it's not just the lab coat and mixing products. We are talking about research in economy. We are talking about research in industry. We are talking research in law, in arts, music, etc., etc. So we are trying to promote all of this. So don't be scared if Alfonso from Flow Cytometry is talking about the Diccionario de la Real Académica Española. So we have done everything. So that's the reason for this initiative. We are not walking alone. So there are other societies similar to ours around the world. There are 22 societies, and we have created a federation of these societies. It's called Raíces, and has been created already 10 years ago. They're all around the world in different countries, from China, Australia to US, and Norway, Japan, etc. And we are trying to do exactly the same things, and sometimes we do things together. Part of this is when we were presenting this in the parliament. We also have a meeting with the King of Spain, and we are doing a lot of different actions to try to help to develop the way the science is developing in Spain. How to attract new researchers to Spain by looking at how the other countries are doing it. We are trying to help in terms of collaborations with industry and academia, or try to return the Spanish researchers that have been moved away to go back. Similar to sending people to Australia, but back to Ireland. We are missing the family. And this one is also another one that has come up this year. There's the policy of gender equality for science. So this is a catalog of the different actions around the world in terms of science and gender equality. So of course, Ireland is represented. I don't know who wrote that chapter, but I'm involved. And this is will be sent in the next few months to all the Spanish embassies. So there will be a copy in all the Spanish embassies in English. So oceans of collaboration, why this is a really important thing, and how we can bridge Galicia and Ireland, and not why Spain. Because when we are thinking on Spain, it's always ole ole flamenco. But it's more than that, it's Galicia. And Galicia and Ireland, after 21 years living here, I can say is too close. It's almost the same, even in the way the people is behaving. There are lots of different things from all time. This is Newgrange, which is located in the north of Ireland. And if you see, these stones are from Galicia. They have the same petroglyphs in one side and the other. There's a discussion if these are the parents of this one or these are the parents of this one. Genetics say we are the parents of the Irish. And these petroglyphs are older than the ones in Newgrange. In all these years, what I can see is a lot of things in common between the two countries, Galicia and Ireland. And I'm talking about country. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that about Galicia. Yes, right. But even from meats, we can talk about the Tower of Breogan, and this is how and why we have Breogan in front of this tower. That is one of the oldest ones in the world. Is in Coruña. We will see the migrations, and migrations has had a huge impact in Ireland and Galicia. So that's the first link that you can clearly see on the sea between Ireland and Galicia. We are going everywhere from Galicia. In the south of America, they don't call it Spanish, they call them Gallegos. In terms of arts, we can see the Celtics, and we can see the music and the traditions, and we can see here a very clear indication with the chieftains and Carlos Núñez. And we can see in terms of economy from dairy products and fisheries, which is basically the theme today. But why I'm really into this? When we are looking at this passage, it's practically the same what you see here and what you see in Ireland. The problem is when you see this. And this is something that we have suffered in Galicia, which is a prestige. And all of these had a big economic impact, but also a big ecological impact. And there are many groups, and I know this in Galicia, working around the impact of the prestige petroleum in the coast, and the impact in the economy, but also in the way of living of many, many people. So I was one of the volunteers there cleaning with my hands all this petrol, and was really well coordinated by the different universities in the north of Galicia. This is my grandfather. This is the father of my mom, and he was a fisherman. He was fishing all around different places. This is my mom in her boat, and they were sailing for years. He's coming from a big tradition in Ribeira, and they have a big amount of boats, and they were basically fisher. He was a skipper. And this is my other grandfather, and he was also fishing. Now you can understand why this topic, it comes to my heart, because I had that tradition. This is the kind of boat that they were coming to Ireland to fish around Ireland. And this is my father. He's also a skipper. He's also fishing. And he is there as well. Even if he was a skipper, sometimes the skipper has to go down and do the job when they have a lot of fish. Where they have been sailing. So in different places all around the world, mainly in Terra Nova, in Canada, Norway, Namibia, Gran Canaria, Galicia, and Ireland. And this is not an easy job to do. It's not that difficult if you're in those conditions. That's not too difficult. It's hard, but not too difficult. The difficulty starts when the climate is not that good, not that nice. You have to battle to make sure that you are surviving. So this is really difficult for the families as well to take in consideration. Especially when you see this in the core times, 1957, and this, and I know we have people here from Bantry, this is in Bantry. And I have there my grandfather and my uncle. This was after a gale. They were spinning all around for a few waves, at least 8 or 9 times based on what they were saying. And this is in the court times, explaining that were not one, there were 2 boats from Vigo in that situation. They were rescued by the Irish Coast Guards, and they were moved to Bantry. On the same day, one ship from the Basque Country sank. Everyone passed away. Okay? So you can see it's clearly my link with this meeting. This is a problem. Fishing, overfishing ended up in a big problem for trying to keep going in that direction. That's ecology, and that's something that we have to avoid. Over exploitation of our natural sources. Ended up with political issues, wars between the countries to see who has the right to fish and where we have to go. And ended up with problems, economic problems, not just for the ones that are fishing, it's for all the industry beside and behind the fishing market. So a problem in the ecology ended up in a problem for the entire society. And this is something we cannot forget. And you can see again, we have a lot of fishes, everyone's fine, but if we have lots of fishes lost, that's a problem. And there are different ways of getting the loss, from overexploitation to a big increase on our contamination. So I will not steal more time, but I think this is clearly putting in context the different topics I will be talking today. Thank you very much to all the speakers. You will have your time to explain, but especially your time to network. And don't forget that the science is not just one way. We have different ways, and we have to have full open vision to what is surrounding us. So thank you very much to all the speakers. These are the different sessions. We have the opening remarks. We have ecology and biodiversity, fisheries and food, other ways of utilizing our resources in industry, industrial applications. And of course, to do research, we always need money. So funding opportunities and funding collaborations. And some collaborations are free of charge for us. For instance, getting Erasmus students in, it's a good way of starting new collaborations between different departments and different areas. So I will just encourage you to spend time in the coffee break and closing area with coffees, beers, and some Spanish food around. Enjoy your time, and thank you very much.
Hi everyone. Welcome all of you to this symposium. A little bit about me, I am Verónica Padín. I am from Galicia, from a little village called Carral. I have been living here in Ireland for 1 year because I am working in Indigo Rock Marine Center, which is based in Bantry. It's a sister company with Bantry Marine Research Station, with a charity status. So I want to say thank you for the opportunity for having me here. And I know that we are going to learn a lot of this symposium. So I'm going to moderate the first session, ecology and biodiversity. So let's start. And a big welcome to Fiona Grant from the Marine Institute of Galway.
Thank you so much. And yeah, you have, Alfonso, some serious pedigree in terms of fishing out of Vigo. And yeah, I was very struck by your family story and links with Bantry. And it's so lovely to see people from Bantry Marine Research Station here. I know Julie well, and she does a fabulous job, and she's a wonderful researcher. Just see if this works. Thank you so much. So just really to start with the thank yous, which I've done a little bit already, to Ambassador Liz Aranzu, the Ambassador of Spain to Ireland, and please give her our best wishes. Christian, thanks to you. Alfonso, obviously, who's pulled this all together, and to BiOrbic. I know we have colleagues here from BiOrbic, and it is a great privilege and honour to be associated with it and UCD more generally. Just to talk about some of my links with colleagues in Galicia. So I have some wonderful colleagues. They're just such gorgeous people to work with. Rafael Gonzalez Quiros, who's in IEO, and he's very involved in IOC. Another gorgeous person, Rosa Fernandez, who works with me in the European Marine Board. She's based in CYTMA in Spain. And Pablo Abanza, again, just really polite, smiley, cheery, lovely. There must be something in the water, I think, definitely. And he is very involved in ICES with her colleague, Kieran Kelly, that Kate just mentioned. So it's always just really lovely to work with these people on a daily basis. But what I wanted to talk about is, I suppose, why we focusing in on this particular area, because marine is so broad. So I have some great colleagues working at the Marine Institute on Ireland's ocean economy, and what they do are marine socioeconomics programme, and it's really important for us to make the case in terms of increased investment and why is the marine so important to our economy. So they have been able to say that in 2023, there's nearly 40,000 employees in this sector with 6.52 billion turnover, and there is direct and indirect impacts, which is a very substantial contribution to our overall economy. And the one thing that's really key in this is that the whole area of bioresources is actually third in terms of turnover. It's third in terms of gross value added, but in terms of employment, it's second. And what they've been able to do, looking at their long time series, is saying that really we're starting to see a drop off in the value of the kind of like the bioresources seafood part. And we know there are so many challenges this year in particular with fisheries quotas being set. But what's really offsetting that is this whole area of the blue bioeconomy. So this value added, we're seeing a huge increase in the value of those goods, huge increase in number of employment. So it is really offsetting maybe some of those other areas where things are being reduced. So it's really important we keep up our research and investment in those areas. The other thing that we work very closely with the OECD and the overall global ocean industries, and what that is showing is that all of the different marine sectors are outperforming the rest of the economy. So again, it's, we hear a lot about multinational corporations, but actually our marine industry sectors are really, really important for global growth. And how we do that in support of a sustainable ocean is really, really important. We touched on this earlier again. Some of my colleagues in PERS have been collecting a lot of the data around marine research in Ireland. Now, this is a collation of data from 2017 to 2024. It is national and European funding. So not just Horizon Europe, also the Interreg projects, a lot of the ERA nets, which Brijesh has been very involved in, and the Sustainable Blue Economy partnerships. But Spain is their number one collaborator, and it's not immediately obvious sometimes. Spain is the go-to. They're really successful, and it just really, brings home why we're here today, to build on what's already really active collaborative projects. So we're involved in 251 projects, and it's really reflecting the breadth of Ireland's engagement with Spain more broadly. And then I wanted to put this in, obviously, because we're in UCD today. So again, intrinsically, we always kind of think of UCC and the University of Galway and ATU as being the really prime marine active researchers and HEIs in Ireland. But University College Dublin, it's really rising through the ranks. I know you're hugely successful in terms of Horizon Europe. And yeah, we're really starting to see that in terms of both grant aid and the number of projects that UCD is involved in. So what we didn't, there's a long list of projects which I've been able to share with Christian and Alfonso, and we can circulate those afterwards if people want. We pulled out 12 examples, and I'm really hoping actually that Brijesh is in here, but I'm not sure. But these are very particular projects that are in the whole area of marine resources, bioeconomy and biodiversity. So Biodiversa is a partnership operated by the EPA rather than ourselves. We have iMagine, which is a research infrastructure project. Marine Sabres is around protection and restoration of marine biodiversity. Circ Algae then is very firmly in the bioeconomy space, Marbefs and CChem. And again, Christian touched on the mission to restore ocean and waters. That's another really important one for us. And we see the success rates are very high in that. So that's something I'll touch on. So I don't have yours, Brijesh. I'm so sorry. Impress should be on here front and centre. But again, I know Combo is one that is coordinated by the University of Galway. So basically, if you are looking for collaborations, I can put you in contact with the people who are already active in these projects if you see something that's coming up and of interest. I did want to very briefly touch on our National Marine Research Knowledge and Innovation Strategy. It is a draft strategy at the moment, but it is very much what's going to drive some of our funding, our national funding going forward. So the areas of intervention that are most relevant are on living with the changing ocean, the whole area of marine biodiversity and ecosystem functioning, and then in the ocean economy part, our sustainable food from the ocean. But there's a whole number of what we call enablers, the whole area of training, research infrastructures, data, partnerships. All of these are really key. None of us can work on our own, essentially. If we're looking at some of the kind of specific actions within that, we're looking for new tools, technologies and business opportunities which are aligned with circular bioeconomy principles. This transition to low impact non-fed aquaculture is a big driver. Looking at the green supply chain, obviously fishing is very different or going to be very different. And obviously it's much more challenging when we look at storm surges, ocean acidification, extreme events, and they all have a huge impact on the whole economy more broadly. So we're really trying to increase research knowledge and expertise to make them more sustainable effectively. The key actions, again, here we share a lot of the actions with Department of Agriculture, Food and Marine. We work very closely with BIM and Teagasc also, but also with Research Ireland. So we're trying to build our collaborations, and I know we have just closed a Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership call where both Research Ireland and ourselves are funding. We're looking forward to hearing some of the outcome of that. And just the last thing I did want to say, we have a Horizon Europe Information Day next week, and that is really specifically looking at marine and maritime topics. And together with my colleagues, we've gone through all the unpublished work programmes, and there's about 1.55 billion euros in marine and maritime topics for the last 2 years of Horizon Europe. A lot of opportunities out there. No problem if you can't make it. Please do email me afterwards. I'm happy to share information with you. The calls will open in early January. We're here to help. Other NCPs will be there. And just thank you once again for everything. And it's such a pleasure to be here. And I can't unfortunately stay very late at the end, but I will be here for the coffee break until 5 o'clock. So please do reach out. I'm always happy to help. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Fiona, for your presentation. Now is the round of questions. So if someone has any question, please. Sorry, it's later. I want to have the question now. So we are going to continue with the second speaker, which is Elsa Vázquez. She's from la Facultade de Ciencias Marinas da Universidade de Vigo.
Hello, everybody. Let me just thank you for inviting me to participate in this event. It has been a pleasure to travel all the way through here just to present what we are doing at the University of Vigo in Marine Science. I am the Dean of the Faculty of Marine Science of the University of Vigo. The University of Vigo is a very young institution. It was born in 1991. We have three campuses. One is the main campus is located in Vigo, here in the Atlantic coast of Spain, but we have another two campuses, one in Pontevedra and the other one in Ourense. We have around 22,000 students, and we receive every year around 700 international students. We have 121 official degree and master programs and 39 PhD programs. Together 11 joint degrees programs with foreign institutions. At the Faculty of Marine Science, we have a degree program in Marine Science, a master degree program in Oceanography, and an international PhD program in Marine Science, Technology and Management that is called DOMAR, that is led by the University of Vigo, but in partnership with the University of Santiago de Compostela and Universidad da Coruña, also in Galicia, but also with 4 universities of the northern Portugal, the University of Minho, the UTADE, the University of Aveiro, and the University of Porto. And also the CSIC is within this master program. I work on the coastal ecology group. My expertise is the impact of global change on commercial bivalves, and also I work on the biology of non-indigenous marine invertebrates. The name of my group is EcoCoast, and you have there our web site for further information. And I belong to a research center, that Marine Research Center of the University of Vigo, that is called Sim Vigo. And this Marine Research Center has 69 permanent research staff, that most all of us are professors at the Marine Science faculty. 65 postdoctoral researchers, around 65 predoctoral researchers, and around 50 technical and management staffs. Where we are at the science building on campus. Here, this is the Faculty of Marine Science, and we are here, but also we have a research station here, just seaside at the ECIMAT is called. This is our Marine Research Station, that is the main research infrastructure of the Marine Research Center, and we are part of the European Marine Biological Resource Center. We have, it's a state-of-the-art facility for research on aquaculture, cryobiology, ocean observation, global change, marine ecotoxicology, and we have, besides the typical facilities of a Marine Research Center, we also have very, very nice mesocosmos facilities. Here you can see this is the marine station, and around here we have all these mesocosmos that allows us to run at large scale experiments with different tanks, different types of tanks. Here you can see from even some of them that are completely transparent, just to observe mainly behavior of some species. And the good thing about those facilities is that they can switch very fast, and depending on the experiments that we are doing. We also have a private floating dock. This private thing is that besides we can for the boats that we have, that I will present a little bit later. We have an oceanometeorological station, and we have mooring lines, so we can hand experiments, and nobody can just go there and spoil them. So that's a very convenient place. Also, we have small boats like this Zodiac here, a medium-sized boat like this one, the Kraken is called, and it's 7.5 meters length. It has the capacity of for 8 people, with a crane, an open seawater system, and equipped with CTD, with fluorescence, phytoplankton, also plankton nets, and Niskin bottles, and we can set in the boat the equipment that we need. And this is very brand new. It was presented 2 weeks ago, that is called Sim Vigo, this research vessel that is 20 meters length, and is an hybrid propulsion vessel. So it's electric with solar panels, wind turbines. So So it's a silent boat, and it's an emission-free navigation boat. And the operational capacity, depth capacity of this boat is 200 meters. So it allows us to work not only within the areas, but also up to the continental platform. We also have an instrumented experimental mussel raft, the raft that in Galicia are used for mussel cultivation. Here, this is an experimental one. So we have a continuous monitoring systems, and it can be used for testing as a testing platform for experiments under natural conditions. We have 5 areas of specialization: biodiversity and ecosystem services, integral management of the coastal zone, aquaculture, and sustainable exploitation of resources, renewable energies, and also global change and marine pollution. Just at a glance, because we don't have time for more, but just to give you an idea on what we are working on within the biodiversity and ecosystem services. We work on deep sea fauna, vulnerable marine ecosystems, non-indigenous species, habitat restoration, ecosystem functioning, evolutionary and behavioral biology, blue carbon, in marine ecosystem services, micropaleontology, phytoplankton and bacterioplankton ecology and evolution. At the integral management of the coastal zone, coastal resilience, impacts and adaptation of anthropogenic changes, operational oceanography, numerical modeling, sedimentology, and seawater levels. Aquaculture and sustainable exploitation of marine resources. We have a very good research team in cryopreservation of embryos and larvae of commercially important invertebrates, reproductive biology of fish and shellfish, animal welfare, feeding and nutrition, in genetics, proteomics, genomics, and parasitology and microbiology. Renewable energies, we work on wave energy, climate projections for sustainable development of aquaculture facilities and renewable energy, and also wave energy and, well, in general, offshore energy. Global change, marine pollution, that Alfonso already talked about this. We work on effects of low salinity events and heat waves on invertebrates. That's my expertise. Local coastal upwelling systems, flooding and drought, paleoclimatology and paleoceanography, ocean acidification, and ecotoxicology, emerging pollutants and microplastics. And we are not alone here, because besides the University of Vigo, in Vigo and its area, we have other research centers, such as the Instituto de Investigaciones Marinas, that belongs to the CSIC, the Spanish Institute of Oceanography, also ANFACO, that we have a representative here, that they are our neighbors, literally. The building is close to our building. And the CYTMA that Fiona also mentioned before. So we have this word that is ecosystem of research ecosystem, really quite good here around us, that allows us just to grow and to hopefully collaborate even more than we are doing now. So I think that I am fine. Sorry, because it was a very hard just to summarize all things that we are doing. But if you are interested in something about us, just let me know and we'll be happy to collaborate. Thanks.
Thanks, Elsa. So now, for finish the first session, we have our last speaker, who welcome to Ronald to the University College of Dublin.
All right, thanks everyone for being here. My name is Ronald, and first of all, thank you so much, Alfonso, for organizing this event, and also thank you so much to the Spanish Embassy for promoting the event, as well as BiOrbic. So I guess in my presentation today, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to introduce a little bit about our research group here, which is actually based at Conway. So if anyone wants to actually see our research area, is just in level 2, and we will gladly give you a tour of the lab. So I'm going to talk about one of the projects which we are currently coordinating at UCD, called AlgaeBrew, which is on how to unlock the potential of microalgae for the valorization of brewery waste streams into omega-3 rich animal feed and fertilizer. So before we go into that, so this is our group. We started in 2020, and we're all based here at Conway Institute, and I think many of our students are actually in the audience right now. So, and we specialize really on the use of microalgae, and that's to use microalgae for the upcycling or the valorization of agri-food side streams into different types of products, whether it's aquaculture feed, animal feed, alternative protein, food fortification, or bioenergy application. So we have different projects, but today I'm just going to talk specifically about AlgaeBrew, which is a European project, which I think then is well aligned with the theme of this today's workshop on fostering multinational collaboration. So, problem statement for AlgaeBrew is that breweries, well, everyone loves beer. So, and in the European Union, there is about 52 billion liters of beer being produced annually. And for every liter of beer, there is actually about 4 to 10 liters of wastewater that's generated. And that wastewater is generated because of washing or equipment, different types of steps during the brewing process that generates this nutrient-rich wastewater. So in If you want to see the number for 52 billion liters of beer equals to about 156 to 520 billion liters of wastewater generated from breweries in Europe every year. I don't know how big that is in terms of swimming pool size, but let's just imagine it's a lot of swimming pools. And that wastewater, normally what brewery has to do is that it has to actually treat this wastewater before it returns the water back to the environment. And it goes through a lot of complex multi-step treatment, which is normally energy intensive and also uses a lot of chemicals. And one of the issues with wastewater treatment at the moment is that for the brewers, they gain nothing from it. What they gain is that clean water that they can return back to the environment, but it's just a linear process to meet environmental regulation. So we are trying to change that practice where we're trying to make wastewater treatment for breweries commercially interesting for them, that they get something back. And how do we do that? We use what we call as microalgae. So microalgae are all of these little single-cell microorganisms that grow in water. If you pass by UCD Lake, you will see a lot of the reason the lake is green is because it's filled with microalgae. So these are some of the different species there, and each of these microorganisms is rich in different components, which can be very valuable, such as lipid, or sugar, or protein, or beta-carotene. And the reason we have an interest in microalgae is because they grow in brackish or seawater, depending on strains, so they do not need actually fresh water or potable water. They also do not need arable land, and they can capture carbon dioxide because they photosynthesize and use nutrients for their growth. So they are considered highly promising for the production of bio-based products in circular bioeconomy. So AlgaeBrew is essentially trying to use microalgae for the development of brewery wastewater solution. So I won't read the text too much, so we'll just go through the diagram. So essentially what we are planning to do is that for brewery, they produce wastewater, and instead of the need to treat the wastewater, what we're hoping is that we can grow the microalgae on the wastewater. This will then clean the wastewater. At the same time, the microalgae will capture carbon dioxide because they photosynthesize to generate biomass. And then out of that, you get this valuable microalgae biomass that's rich in protein or rich in omega-3 oil. And that microalgae biomass can then be used as fish feed or biofertilizer. So if you use it as fish feed, in this case, you use it to replace fish meal. So fish meal is what we feed fish in farm fish, essentially. And fish meal actually came from wild-caught fish. So if you think about it, with this particular process layout, we are potentially achieving a dual impact, making brewery more sustainable by potentially eliminating wastewater treatment process for them, but at the same time, making aquaculture more sustainable as well by replacing the need for fish meal. So we're trying to achieve dual impact on both sides. And that's the same story with the fertilizer, because you can potentially use the biomass as biofertilizer, which then replaces potentially the need for chemical fertilizer. So AlgaeBrew is a multinational collaboration, 7 universities, 3 industry partners. 3 of the PhD students are based here at UCD, and then we have partners from Belgium, the UK, Italy, Turkey, Romania, as well as Morocco. Unfortunately, no partner from Spain yet, so maybe in the next grant application, we'll get someone from Spain. And I won't go through too much of the key results, but I'm just gonna give a little bit of summary to make it kind of interesting. So the first thing we asked was, can the algae actually grow on the brewery wastewater? And we have different species of algae there, and as you can see, that's a picture of algae being grown on the wastewater. And the answer to that is yes, we actually managed to grow the algae on the wastewater. And more importantly, we actually managed to grow it just by filtering the wastewater. We didn't have to actually do pH adjustment, salinity adjustment, or add additional nutrients. So essentially, because people ask me, what was the process you do to grow the algae? We just add the algae to the brewery wastewater, which is the simplest process you can do, and that's always the best process. And the second question we asked was, can the microalgae actually treat the brewery wastewater as it is growing? I won't go through all the figures. So the algae is growing, and then we track the nitrate and the phosphate, which are the two primary contaminants in the brewery wastewater. And what we found was that, yes, the algae actually managed to remove almost all of the nutrients in the wastewater. So it's actually cleaning the wastewater as it's generating biomass. And at the same time, it's actually capturing carbon dioxide. So as you can see here, for every liter of wastewater that the algae is treating, we're capturing about 1.5 gram of carbon dioxide. And the next thing we asked was that, does this have the relevant composition for potential aquaculture application? And what we found was that we tracked the lipid composition of the algae biomass, and we actually found that the algae actually has quite a significant level of omega-3 oil, or EPA, across different growth conditions, whether they are grown on standard media or on wastewater. And that means that, yes, they're potentially suitable as fish meal replacement in aquaculture. So I won't go through this one, but we did scale up the production process to 4,000 liters using the infrastructure at Swansea University. I know there are a lot of universities in Spain which have similar infrastructure, so that's potentially something that we can foster partnership for. So essentially, we transport 4,000 liters of wastewater from Ireland, brewery wastewater, to the UK. We grow the algae in the UK, and then we send it to Belgium for fish meal formulation and then fish feed trials. And finally, the last question we asked is, now that we have all of this algae biomass that's been grown on waste, is it actually safe to feed that to fish? So we had to do a fish trial on this. What is the effect of the microalgae inclusion in fish diets, and are they safe? So our partner is LS Aqua in Belgium, which actually has a partner in Spain, IATS. So they actually did this joint experiments together where they receive our biomass that's been grown on waste and then integrate that into fish meal formulation or fish feed formulation, and then do a fish trial to test the effect of that on the fish performance and his pathological growth. Now, I won't go through the details, but essentially D1 is standard fish meal, and then D2, D3, and D4 has more algae incorporated into the fish diet. And as you can see there, there's almost no difference in the growth of the fish across the different diets, which means that the algae substitution actually did not have a negative impact on the algae substitution of the fish meal in the fish diets did not actually have a negative impact. There's also no negative impact on his intestine as well as liver functions. But what we found was that in the blood biochemistry of the fish, there is actually an increasing level of antioxidant in the fish as we use more microalgae in the diet. That means that the fish potentially has a more robust immune resistance. So conclusions, yes, microalgae can be grown on brewery wastewater, cleaning the brewery wastewater while capturing carbon dioxide. The microalgae biomass that's obtained from the brewery wastewater can be used to replace fish meal, displaying no toxicity and promoting microbiota in the fish guts. The process can be scaled up, but research is needed for large-scale performance and techno-economic assessment. So thank you so much, everyone. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
If the three speakers can come, please, because now we are going to start the round of questions. So if someone have any question, please raise your hand.
I can entertain in the meantime a tiny bit. So my name is Marco García-Vaquero. I am the Director of Food Science in UCD. And for me, it's also really special to be here. Basically, I'm not sure if you know, my accent is not from Ireland, so I'm not originally from here, although my English is perfection. You might be aware of that. So originally, I'm from Galicia, and I always say that when I'm from Galicia, I'm from Lugo, so people might know where I am. But in reality, I am from a tiny village that is called Bacaloura. And Bacaloura is a tiny village that was made maybe 100 people, and it was basically a prison compound. So everybody that was working in the prison was there, including my family, because it was the cheapest place to be. And then we were forced to move out, and we moved to the big village that it was Monterroso. Nobody knows about it, even in Galicia. And that big village was 1,000 people. And that's where I started my research, when I have my first pig, because we didn't have boats. But I had one pig in my house, my neighbor had the cow, so we kind of mixed it up. And the pig was the only thing that could not eat from everything that we fed the pig, because obviously you have things in your house and you fed it to the pig. It was seaweed. So my first study was trying to determine the inclusion level of seaweed into the pig's diet so the pig will eat it. Okay? So that's, I guess, what I can trace back to my seaweed and marine research. Then I went on and studied vet in Lugo, in the University of Santiago de Compostela. And I guess I continue to scale up my group, and I have my group now in marine research here in UCD. And I'm going to try to moderate this. I think the first speaker is already here. The first speaker is Ricardo Ferreira, and he's from Pescanova. So welcome. Okay.
Hello, my name is Ricardo from Eiranova Fisheries, a company part of Nuevo Pescanova Group. I work in Eiranova Fisheries, as I say, we established there from 1979, because the Galicia vessels, as maybe he will know, need a point of reference and landing in Ireland. So on the past, they did 2 days, 3 days of trip, working in the ground sole and landing the fish in Galicia. And when they establish the pier in Castletownbere, they have 10 hours or 20 hours if they are more far away from land. So we are the first company there. We help the town. We build a bridge to access the Danish island where is the pier. So we have a very huge connection with Ireland and Galicia on that aspect. Also, at the beginning, we have the same species here for the velvet crab and the prawns. And it was very funny when the men on the time asked the local fishermen about they are able to bring velvet crab and prawns. And they answer, that is not food. So nobody here eat that type of products, what we in Galicia do for a very long time. And they start bringing the velvet crab and the prawns. And we start exporting that products to Galicia, and they are now also eating the same products. So they like that. Another thing we do is put fish from Galicia vessels on the Irish market, because there is a lack of fish right now. The people on the fishing industry know there is a lack of fish, a very huge lack of fish. There are companies closing at this time, Irish companies closing because they don't have product. And we cannot provide, because there's a lack of fish on the sea. It's a problem we have to sit down, think, and solve. Is a very big problem. So I don't have too much to say. We can be a point of reference if some researcher need insights from the fleet, from the fishermen, for the work on the field. We can give that to the researchers, and we will be here for whatever needs will be needed in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I think the next researcher now is Brijesh Tiwari from Chagas. He specializes in novel technologies, and let the floor to him to explain his new research.
So first of all, thanks Alfonso for organizing this event. And obviously I'm not Spanish, but I've been to Spain so many times, and especially to Vigo for the last 4 years. And this year alone it was 3 times and 6 times in Portugal. So that's how closely we are related with the Spanish researcher. This we'll see, and even Marco, previously former Chagas employee. So the whole of the research program at Chagas, which we have obviously national and international collaboration, is focusing only on 2 parts. One is biotransformation, that is transforming whatever marine bioresources we have into value-added products. And the main focus is to see if we get zero waste refineries. That means every fraction is utilized. Second one is adding value, because a lot of marine bioresource is not new. It's not a new product, which is fish or seaweed, microalgae, macroalgae has been used for ages. And whatever existing processes are, commercial processes are, how best we can add value to the side stream and create new value chain. So this is the crux of whole of the marine program we've been part of. Now, these are the key strategic marine program widespread all the way from technology readiness level 4 all the way to 9. If you'll see, the first flagship program was between 2008 till 2015, was obviously with Marine Institute, Department of Agriculture, that was Nutramara, that's Marine Functional Food Research Initiative, that did a lot of background work on Irish marine resources, what are the potential and what are different attributes we can obtain. Biocarb, Impressive, Aquatech for feed, these were just recently completed project. Biocarb for food was led by CSIC in Valencia. Impressive still ongoing, just finished, funded by again Marine Institute. Duckweed is ongoing project, which is duck feed, which is basically to how we use the wastewater, very similar to Ronald's approach to produce duckweed as a biomass. Valias is all about alien species. This is EU Marie Curie staff exchange program. That means alien species which are already in European waters. What we do with that? We can't stop it because we can't create a boundary in the water. So how we can valorize it? Enhance microalgae, and this was led by ANFACO. And again, from Vigo, and just this project was finished 2 years ago, focusing entirely about value-adding microalgae, pro health, all to do with fish. So all these projects, they have provided enough of research information, a lot of technology and processes, how best we can valorize it. And then we, Chagas coordinates Impress, that's around 6 million euros project. We have 4 Spanish partners. I'll talk about that in the next few slides. And we have Bioeconomy Research Center, that's BiOrbic, and I'm lead for Climate Neutral Marine Challenge, where we are taking the outputs from all the projects with industry collaboration and develop the project and prove it. Now, recently, last year, Circular IMTA demonstration project and AIM Bio, that's All Ireland Marine Biorefinery project. These two are flagship projects for us. And here we are demonstrating all these processes at a scale. So we are open for collaboration. These will run till 2030. So still we are open for collaboration. That means we'll have real processes. One of the best advantage what we have with these two projects, what we'll discuss in the coming slide, is when we go and say to industry, we have this process, we can develop this particular ingredient, very high value ingredient. Industry, where is the ingredient? This is it. Oh, the small quantity. So even if we do convince them there is a potential, unless until they see it, they're not going to adopt it. So that's the best part, what we received money from our national funding agencies to run these two programs. So Impress approach, if you'll see this particular circularity for circular economy, whatever commercially produced species are, generates wastewater and solid byproduct. Solid byproduct creating number of different value chains, and the wastewater, that wastewater first to recover the soluble solid, which is mainly soluble proteins, and leftover water to produce microalgae and a duckweed. And as you can see, the partner, we have Clusaga, that's a Galician food cluster. We have ANFACO here, and we have New Algae. New Algae is doing the commercial production of microalgae, and we have Clusaga, which is taking all the things for the region. So it's not, and most of these project partners have been embedded right from 2017 and 18, all those European projects. So that's Impress approach, and the website is there. If you want have any further information, I'll be here for coffee break and till evening. Now, next one is all these projects. We do have a site in Mount Lucas. This is IMTA, the Integrated Multi-Tropic Aquaculture. And over here, this is nearly 5.8 hectares of land. I'll show the photograph where we selected certain processes and demonstrate how duckweed is grown and how that can be converted into different value chains. And this is operating at technology readiness level of 7 to 8. That means real demonstration. And this all the funding is only to run those processes at a commercial scale. So this is the site at Mount Lucas. It's around 70 kilometers from Dublin. And as you can see, this green one is green part is the duckweed, and there's a fish in it. And some of the fish feed was developed as part of Ecotech Feed project. And then you harvest this duckweed, create different value chain, and to show how this can be produced and how this can be utilized. As you can see, there's a windmill. So it's going to be a complete zero and neutral processes, because we are going to use renewable source of energy to produce these processes. And as we speak today, there's an event in Ashtown, which I obviously have to skip because I thought this one is important, because beer is coming in here at the break time. So this is another program which just launched on the 1st of September. This is All Ireland Marine Biorefinery. This is talking about Ireland of Ireland. Again, to develop the biorefinery funded by Department of Agriculture as well as DEFRA from Northern Ireland, and this based on Shared Ireland Initiative. And over here, and some of the projects were already mentioned by Fiona, as you can see, CCAM, Agrifine, Impress, Valias, BiOrbic, Aquatech for Feed, all these output from these projects producing seaweed, three sites. One is in Donegal with the BioBio, Islander Kelp in Rathlin in North, and Bantry Research Center, and Indigo Rock in is the Indigo Rock and Bantry Marine are at the same place in Bantry. Seafood side stream with the company, and starting with on-site storage and preservation of that biomass, because this is the biggest challenge. We have a lot of processes, but how do we preserve that biomass? Drying is most easiest one, but it's good when you're doing experiments, but we're talking about the tons. Amount of energy goes in is huge, and that changes all the life cycle assessment. If you do seaweed production the way it has been done and processed in Ireland, most of the smaller seaweed hatcheries, if you do the life cycle assessment, you'll see it's exactly the same as beef production. The reason is some of the processes are very energy intensive, like diesel trawlers are used to capture seaweed or so. And then once we have this, we are going to deploy, develop, and test and validate with number of different processes, and develop business cases through circular bioeconomy clusters. So this all has been possible only because of a number of different agencies. I have listed almost all from where we have drawn down the funds. And obvious them was based on certain joint program initiatives. For instance, HDHL, again, we have Blue Bio Co-Fund, Sus Food, and all these were with the Galician and Spanish partners, plus European project, and Enhanced Microalgae was Interact project, Marine Institute, Research Ireland, and our own Department of Agriculture has been funding a lot of these programs. So I'm putting this acknowledgement slide before going to the conclusion. The reason is because often we always look at the acknowledgement after thank you, and it's been often ignored. And it is really, really important to highlight the support, what we do receive. I'm not saying just because Fiona is here, but to be honest, we receive really good so we do really get support from Department of Agriculture, Research, and as well as Sean is here from BiOrbic. He'll be talking about BiOrbic. There are a lot of initiatives have been running, and we are able to generate that much amount of data, which allows us to go and get some more European project. And in conclusion, what I'll say is complete valorization. We keep talking about, and we will demonstrate. We have demonstrated a number of cases. It's challenging, but definitely it is achievable. Only thing what we have gathered information, we need either transformational or translational approach. Transformation, that means how we transform the biomass to zero waste refinery, and how we translate it. For instance, I just wanted to quote a very simple example. When we first discussed about fish processing in one of the company in Ireland, fish fillet is there, wash it, and that wash water is mixed with the stick water, and then it goes to wastewater treatment plant. When we collected the fillet wash water, we found at least 3 to 4% protein in it. And same thing in Poland, when you're steaming and brining the fish, you get 5 to 10% protein in it. We do look at 1 to 2% protein in whey protein. Why not look in fish protein wash water, which is still food grade, because if it is in a food plant. And from there, all these projects generated. So this is what I keep saying about translation approach. Other areas has developed a lot of initiatives how we can learn for marine side. And again, we do have a technology, but unfortunately, sometimes we do become very pedantic about technology. Yes, we can we use this technology to that? We need to know the problem first, and then how we can adopt, fit the technology near about that. Because we do get industry and collaborator, can we use this high pressure processing for seaweed? But what's the purpose? That's one. And the key is, again, circular economy and making processes biorefining. To use full biorefining, making it zero waste. I hope I have not taken more time. Yeah? That's great. So is there any question? I'm happy to take. Okay.
Now, last but not least, Martina Ferreira from Centro Tecnológico ANFACO CYTMA. And I think, Martina, you need necesitas un micrófono.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mario, for the introduction. Actually, we're not any longer ANFACO CYTMA. We recently changed our name to ANFACO CYTMA. But some of you already know us because we are partners in current projects, so we have been in the past. But for those who don't know us yet, we are a unique organization in the way that we have a dual mission of business organization and a technological center. As a business association, ANFACO CYTMA defends the economic and commercial interests of more than 250 companies belonging to the seafood and fishing industry and affiliate industries. And as a technological center, we develop R&D projects and we offer services of technical and innovation services to more than 500 clients and partners. We're also located in Vigo. And what do we do? As a technological center, ANFACO CYTMA supports the food and marine industry by fostering competitive and innovative development. And we do this with a large staff, an interdisciplinary team of 100 people with different backgrounds belonging to science, belonging to engineering, lab technicians. We also have economists and specialists in marketing and management. And we have large facilities, highly equipped. We have laboratories for microbiology, for physicochemical analysis, instrumental analysis, cell biology, molecular biology, and also for everything that has to do with downstream processing of raw materials and byproducts and for fermentation processes. And we also have a pilot plan where we can upscale all this work we do in the labs. So then we have equipment for the downstream processing of byproducts and raw materials. We also have advanced technologies for the seafood processing. We also carry out projects related to the digitalization of processes, and we also have a pilot aquaculture plant where we work with microalgae, seaweeds, fish, and bivalve mollusks. And of course, we couldn't do anything of this without our extensive network of partners and collaborators in projects. In Galicia, the University of Vigo is one of our best partners, of course. The rest of Spain, Europe, of course, Ireland. We have a few partners currently collaborating with us. And nowadays, we have 89 ongoing projects, 54% of them under direct contracting. The rest are funded by competitive public programs, and 21 of them are international projects. But my presentation was about innovating to develop marine ingredients, high-value ingredients from marine origin, but which are our interests when we talk about marine ingredients? Well, of course, marine ingredients are sources of healthy foods, and we expect them to provide us with essential nutrients, but we also want them to go a bit beyond and bring us health properties, functional properties, and improve the functions of our organs. But on the other side, we are also interested in ways to make the production of these ingredients more sustainable. So we have to think of concepts such as zero waste, new materials, sustainability, blue bioeconomy, circular processes, restorative aquaculture when we think about aquaculture, ecosystemic services. And of course, everything involves technological innovation too, okay? So when we develop research projects, we think in this triangle, which involves both of all these three concepts of technological innovation, development of healthy foods, and sustainable production. And here are examples of some of the projects we are currently doing. And you can see they all fit to some extent within these three concepts. So to describe a little bit some of these projects, OptiProt and Neuromics are focused on the link of food and human health. And both are based on the use of ingredients of marine origin, fish and microalgae in the case of OptiProt, and microalgae in the case of Neuromics. OptiProt focuses on the development of new protein sources, and we work with combination of fish and innovative protein sources such as microalgae, and most of the work we do is performed in vitro. We develop in vitro models to study how the ingredients have an effect on the oxidative and inflammatory metabolism, or on the metabolites that microbiota produces in our intestines. And we also carry on in vitro simulations of human digestion to study the products that are produced from these ingredients. And in Neuromics, we will work, because the project has been recently started, we will work with microalgae as a source of compounds with potential neuroprotective and neuroactive activity. Okay? So again, we will develop cell models to assess the effects in neuronal in vitro cultures. And we also will work to study how the microbiota interacts with the microalgae ingredients to produce metabolites with potential neuroactive properties. And of course, we will develop new foods from these ingredients, because that's part of our core business and mission. While Impress has already been mentioned by Brijesh, and Nova Foodies, these are close projects. These are Horizon Europe funded projects, which focus on circular economy, aquaculture, and the valorization of side streams and byproducts from the fish industry and related industries. And in this in Impress, we work on the valorization of wastewater from the seafood cooking processes to produce microalgae. And we also will also validate duckweed, which has been already also produced in wastewater as an aquafeed ingredient. Other partners are developing ready-to-eat products from low-trophic marine species, aquatic species, and also developing prototypes of materials for non-food uses, such as packaging. Okay? And on the other side, Nova Foodies focus a lot on integrated multi-trophic aquaculture case studies, and particularly the cultivation of seaweeds in liquid wasted and the valorization of bycatches. And particularly, ANFACO focus on the development of new products with functional properties and compliance with the food safety standards and nutritional standards. Ecoefficient and Valorish are more focused on the sustainability and the development of new technological solutions, and also, again, focused on the development of circular value chains. Okay? So in Ecoefficient, systemic solutions, systemic territorial solutions are being based on circular value chains and linked to the fish and fishing industries are being developed. 6 circular value chains which aim to turn fish byproducts to food, cosmetics, packaging materials, and soil improvers and fertilizers. And also there's a value chain that focuses on transforming waste fish gears into materials for the car and the packaging industry. And we in ANFACO work on the development of processes to turn fish byproducts into bioactive compounds and gelatin to be used in the cosmetic industry and for the development of packaging materials, both in lab and pilot scale. And Valorish goes one step beyond and it's developing a cascade biorefinery approach assisted by computer-based methodologies. And in ANFACO, we work on the feedstock management. We optimize techniques for the oil extraction from fish byproducts. And we also perform fermentative hydrolysis to turn fish protein into peptides. These peptides are, well, fermentative hydrolysis involves the use of bacteria, and we work in the computational screening to select the most interesting bacteria to produce the desired polypeptides. And we, after the obtention of the peptides, we have also a residue that is further processed to produce biogas, and then the last step will be the formulation and validation of new products from the peptides we obtain. And finally, for Food and Biochains Atlantic are 2 Atlantic area projects, so the concept is completely different to those Horizon Europe. Here, the objective of this project is to strengthen the R&D capacities and the collaborations of the food industry and the research and technological organisms in the Atlantic area to promote new collaborations and improved products. Hub for Food is focused in food industry in general, with an emphasis on products of marine origins, and Biochains is focused on the value chains of the algae biomass, seaweed and microalgae. So more or less the methodology is quite similar. It involves the identification of the needs and the challenge the SME companies, particularly small and medium companies, face in their activity, and also identify and map the competences and the technologies and the actors that can offer these technologies and competences to companies. Then different models of collaboration are developed, for instance, pilot projects to develop new products, or studies of the value chains to improve them to overcome those gaps and challenge that hamper competitivity and scalability and economical viability. So the last step is to demonstrate the feasibility of these proposals, and in the case of Hub for Food, business innovation facility is going to be created. This is a network of collaboration that will be active beyond the project. Well, that's a quick glimpse of our activity. And here are my contact details. If you need something, I'm available for questions. Thank you very much.
All right, good evening, everyone. I think we can start the talk again. So I can see Anton is being prepped there. So, all right. So the first speaker is Anton Seoane from Bantry Marine Research Station. Feel free to take the stage, Anton.
Okay, sorry for this technical problems. Hello, I'm Anton Seoane. I'm coming from Carral, Galicia. And I'm really happy to be here because in this symposium we are building a bridge between my two homes, Galicia, and now I'm based in Bantry, working in Bantry Marine Research Station. And I'm going to introduce you a little bit about our R&D projects at BMRS. So first, I'm going to show you a little bit about our site. So there is the first building here is the office and the seaweed nursery. Here is where I lead the project with Asparagopsis aromatica, and we have a little lab here as well. And this building over here is a lambfish hatchery that we use for controlling sea lice in salmon farming. So we are located in Bantry, and we also have 3 different sea farms. One of them is next to where we have our site, and it's a AMTA site because it's next to the salmon cages. So I'm going to start talking about the project I lead that we are really excited about. This project, we build a system to farm Asparagopsis aromatica tetrasporophyte. And we are really excited about this algae because it's fast growing, in contrast with the gametophyte that is farmed in the sea lines. You can farm it all year round without seasonality problems, and also have already high value in the cosmetic market, potentially in the pharmaceutical market because it have powerful bioactives. But where it's really a game changer is in methane mitigation. This algae, the literature that is backing this algae on methane mitigation is really strong, and a really low addition in the diet of the cattle can reduce up to 50%, more than 50%, the emissions of methane. And in vitro studies with the sister species, Asparagopsis taxiformis, that you can find in the Mediterranean, for example, they in vitro studies got even a total 98% reduction in methane formation. So the literature says that this algae works and is really powerful at really low doses. So we are not meeting in Ireland our climate targets, and this leads to we are paying hundreds of millions of euros in fines every year. By 2030, we are expected to pay almost 500 million of euros in fines for not meeting our emission targets. We are looking here at one seaweed that can be the solution of this problem. We can build an industry with just money that we are not going to spend in fines. With this money, we can put it on building farms in remote coastal places of Ireland, also pushing communities to thrive, creating jobs, and solving climate change, positioning Ireland as a leader in climate action. So I'm going to show you a little bit of our project. So we invented a novel system to farm this algae land-based in a really fast-growing way that is financially viable and that is scalable. So here there is a couple of pictures of the nursery stage where we select the best strains, focusing right now we are focusing on bioactive concentration and also in growth rates. Then we move to the production stage where we created personalized tanks that are the main objective is to grow this algae as fast as possible and give the high quality biomass for the cattle. Here, just for you to get a sense of the scale, we are now at the point that we need support to build farms all across Ireland and potentially other countries to solve this problem and be able to also push the industry of agriculture that is really important in Ireland and also in Galicia, with 7.3 million cattle in Ireland and 1 million almost in Galicia. And if not, the fines are going to start also taking profit from this industry that really generates a lot of jobs and mostly in rural areas. So that's why we think it's so important. And now I'm going to introduce you other projects that I'm not too involved in, some of them a little bit. So we also farm Saccharina latissima in seaweed lines. For that, we identify gametophytes, mature gametophytes in the shore next to the station. Then we we develop the juveniles in tumbling cultures, and we spray them into these twines to get the seed attached to the rope. That then it goes. We twine it on the big sea lines, and we put it on the seed for growth. We follow the same process with Alaria as well. Here you can see, identify the gametophytes on the shore. Here is an image of the line, a diagram of how we set up all the lines. And this is a picture of the day of harvest. So as you can see, we are able to produce really dense biomass of Alaria as well. We started recently with a project that is funded by the Marine Institute on porphyria. We follow, again, the same process. We identify gametophytes, we induce them to sporulate, then we cultivate the juveniles, and we get to the final product. This project is for land-based cultivation as well, which is really interesting because you can control all the parameters. Then, for what we use all this seaweed. So we are involved in different projects. This shoe, for example, Impress, already Brijesh talked about it because we are working hand to hand with chavos in a lot of them. We provide the seaweed for these projects, for the structure, for green extractions on Impress. Also the landfish, because they are not only extracting from seaweed. Then CHM, our fellow worker Hussein Ahmad, that is developing green processes for extraction in Alaria. And he's been doing a great job. He has great results so far. Then Faros, in Faros we differentiate we identify the differences between our IMTA farm with our other two sea farms to see if there is difference in growth, in nutrients, in bioactive concentration. But we also check for biodiversity on the blades. So we see if there is differences on the biodiversity due to these salmon cages being so close by our farm. Imbalias is a project that is based in Greece, where we identified invasive species such as Paragopsis taxiformis, sea urchin, and Saccharina. And we see what are the value chains that we can use this invasive species to get some profit out of it. Then we have old farms. As you know, Ireland is not known for the tranquil sea. The conditions are pretty harsh. So we help to test equipment for offshore farms, in between windmill farms. And here we are testing an inflatable line. So whenever a storm comes, the same way a diver would use the jacket to level the floatability, control the floatability, we can sink the line until the storm has passed, and then automatically bring it up again when there is more calm seas. Then Indigo Rock, that is a sister company with charity status at BMRS, they also work in MBio and the circular IMTA demo. MBio is also, we provide the seaweed for them to do green extractions. And we also work on the after harvest processing to deliver the highest quality product. Then I have a picture here of the IMTA demo. So this is in Offaly, in Mont San Lucas. And basically, this is a RAS system where they farm trout in these ponds over here. Then the water is, we use the seaweed for bioremediation of that water. So basically the seaweed filter the water, takes all the nutrients out, so the water can be back into the trout ponds. And we are looking to farm chlorella in a third step of this process. We don't only work with seaweed, we also farm landfish as a sustainable alternative for sea lice control in salmon cages. That is a difficult problem to solve, and it's financially important because it causes a lot of mortality in salmon. Here you can see how many sea lice a landfish can eat in a day. There is more or less 120 to 150 sea lice that a single landfish can eat in a day out of the salmon. So it's a process that really works. We also farm for the same objective, Ballan Wrasse, under Dorset Cleaner Fish name in the UK. And we also are working to develop a mucosally delivered active vaccine for this problem, for sea lice, working with different institutions. So that's it for me. Thank you so much. If you want to contact, if you are interested in any of the projects, you can contact me in here. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Anton, for that presentation. So I guess we can go to the next presenter with my colleague from the Agriculture and Food Science, Marco. So first, yep, and we need to get your presentation up.
I can entertain in the meantime as well. So now I'm going to introduce part of the stage 2 of my research. The first one was animal trials with my pig. Then I advanced to my colleague Vanessa with the cows and tried to include more seaweed. For today, I'm going to be basically talking about few others that we have. And I was always working with seaweed, so I don't know why recently we got some funding in microalgae, some from the Marine Institute. So I'm just going to introduce a few of those projects and the ideas that we have for them. Hopefully you will like them. And you can see the scale up as well from the preliminary trials to this. Thank you so much again for inviting me. So I'm just going to introduce a few of the pieces of research that we are going to work at the moment. And since the colleague that was actually Elena was meant to be delivering this session and she was working in cosmetics, so it would have been great to deal a bit more with that industry. So I'm just going to talk a bit, few things that we have with these projects, and we also cover cosmetics. I also want to say that I'm all of these. I introduced myself before. I'm the Director of Food Science, the lead of Sustainable Food Systems, all of that. But I don't care too much about being. The thing that I care most is about doing. So what I'm most proud of is to see all the collaborators here again, because we cannot do all this alone. So from Bantry Marine Research Institute with Julie, we had a project before. So they provide the biomass, so we can then do the extraction. Part of the extraction we do at lab scale, but then there's chagas coming up. So we use also and collaborate with them. So the whole thing to see this here is basically a research project in itself, because I basically know everyone and we collaborate with everyone. I'm going to introduce, again, for cosmetics, the major challenges that we have also for the ocean, possible solutions that we can offer, and the research opportunities that we got. So we got 2 recently funded, and I'm going to go through them again. In the case of cosmetics, when we think about cosmetic, we normally don't think so much about pollution or the environment, but they are a massive issue for the environment, particularly for the ocean. Obviously, you're recommended to use UV filters, so it's great that you put your sun cream before going for a swim in the water, but all these sun cream and all these compounds are obviously going to have an effect. So they're going to be in the water, they are going to be broken down by light, and then they are going to suffer all these processes that can be bioaccumulation in the ocean, they can be magnification, and they can be metabolized by other organisms to something else that we don't know what effects they might have. Other things that can happen there, they also have preservatives, like all the cosmetics that you use, or all the creams, or all disinfectants that are going to be filtered down to the water because they cannot actually go in the wastewater treatment. You cannot eliminate them completely, so they are going to filter down to the ocean and also to the soil in some extent. Another issue is that they need to be packaged. So obviously those packaging then are going to be, most of them also end up in the source, as you can see them. And there's a problem of microplastics from them. But also recently there's a problem of microplastics because we're actually adding them into the product. So there's different microbits that you add to the product, like scrubs for your face that are really good. They are increasing the power of that cosmetic in particular, so they have an effect. But then you wash it off, and then it goes and filters down in microplastics in the ocean. So with that said, we also have some possible solutions that we can work here. And one of the projects is going to explore microalgae. Microalgae, I'm going to explain how we can use them in different ways. One of them is the way that he mentioned. So basically, you can have a cultivation system, and you just use them, and they produce multiple compounds, and some of them can be used for cosmetics. In this way, we are going to target some cosmetics that have UV properties. So UV protection properties from the microalgae, and obviously you're not going to get rid of the rest. So the rest will be used to extract other compounds, as we just explained, that we will use from different applications. But then there's another opportunity. So we contacted one company, and this company in Spain, there's a lot of problems with water and potable water. So there's a lot of desalination plants. The desalination plants, what they do is basically they take water from the ocean, they take out the salt, that's basically consumed by the people, and that's all fine. However, then they create a super highly concentrated sludge that what they do is just they go back to the ocean bit by bit. So it has an effect on the climate locally, obviously, but it's just controlled, so they have a controlled release of them. And that's changed also the microalgae in the area. So some researchers identified in the proximity of some desalination plants some microalgae that are really well adapted to live there. So we contacted one desalination company, so they are going to grow actually that microalgae that is already in the environment into those highly salinated waters to see if they can actually gain some value out of it. And then there's a high market demand at the moment for natural products. There's a high natural, in terms of cosmetics, there's a rise of 15% in natural cosmetics, and then also for other additives that you can add in terms of colorants. So there's a huge raise of consumer awareness and need for these products. And as I mentioned before, we're trying to extract not only one compound that can be good for ultraviolet protection, another one that can have the color. We're going to try to separate the microalgae that we have into different compounds and see what we can do with the whole thing from beginning to end. And that's the circular exploitation model here. And that's the new project that comes. It's called SMAC+. So you have the definition there. It's a bit complicated, but it's sustainable, microalgae is involved there, autochthonous species as well, create scalable solutions, capacity building, and environmental benefits, that's the plus. We just recently started, it's 2.8 million, and I chose this project basically because we are going to cover a lot in cosmetics, so we are going to extract some UV protecting compounds that we already know that they are 6 in certain species, and part of the UCD work is going to be involved then in using those compounds in different emulsions that we can have some cosmetic applications into them. So we have some expertise as well in doing those emulsions, and we are going to try that here. And then there's all these compounds involved. It's an Interreg project, so it's from all the coasts of Portugal, Spain, France, and then all the way up to Ireland. And again, with different associated partners involved. We have also the Xunta de Galicia as an involved partner from the political side, and we will also love to have the Irish one that they can join at any time. So I will be launching, I don't see Patrick Barry here, but I will be sending that information to him in case Ireland wants to be involved, or the Marine Institute wants to be involved, just to check on the project and how can we use the results later on more in guiding new research, maybe if you wish. And then lately, I just want to introduce the new project that we got also this year, and this is funded by the Marine Institute. And what we're trying to do here is focusing more in food and in feed. Drugs, so pharmaceutical first, and then in feed. So the first pharmaceutical drug that they want is monoacylglycerol. It's quite hard to get, and there's 3 strains that we are going to identify in collaboration with some partners, so they want to produce that. And then with the rest, we are going to generate different fractions following a biorefinery approach and try to introduce them with other partners into animal feed. This animal feed, obviously we have different partners working on it, so it's going to be basically acceptance of that feed. So do they eat it or not? What maximum levels can we add? So basically the same experiments that I did with the pigs, but with fish, how much they can eat, and if it's safe for them or not, and how many residues can we get from that fish, so it's safe also for us. And agora mille mahagwif, thank you so much. Moitas gracias por vir a todos os que viñestes desde Galicia. Thank you so much. That's it for me.
Thank you. Good afternoon from Galicia. Buenas tardes a todos. Thank you for the chance to join online today. I'm sorry I cannot be with you there, but my agenda was very busy and impossible to travel these days. Still, I'm very happy to have the opportunity to participate online. And first, I want to thank everyone who made possible this visit and this workshop. Thank you for planning all these topics that I can see in the agenda, organizing this great agenda, and bringing together all the people and institutions from Ireland and Galicia that are today in this workshop. I also want to thank the embassy for the support and commitment to this connection between our both regions. And this kind of workshops shows that innovation needs collaboration, and we try to create this bridge between different regions and try to transfer knowledge and share different projects. And this is the key point to create a real impact in the global world that is full of challenges. Galicia and Ireland, I think we share many values. We are Atlantic regions, we have strong research teams, dynamic companies, and also a long story connected to the ocean. The ocean is not a barrier in this case, as the title of these workshops. Today is more like a bridge between both regions. In Galicia, the research, development, and innovation for us are a key priority for the regional government, for Xunta de Galicia. We invest in our universities, research centers, technology institutes, of course, the company, the clusters, and we want to support the talent and help the ideas to move from the laboratory to the society. For that, we have different instruments. One of them is our research and development plan for 2025 to 2027. For that, we have more than 1,300 million euros. And the main goals are to create opportunities for better science and innovation, with support for strong research groups, companies, technological centers, research centers, and key infrastructures also. Second is more transfer of knowledge, so that the research becomes real solutions, and then we can find new business. And the third is very aligned with this workshop, is more cooperation, because big challenges need partners inside and outside of our regions. So for us, the international cooperation is very important. We want Galicia to be active in European innovation networks, and Ireland in this case can be a key partner because our synergies. And another important element for us, and linked to the context of these workshops, is the Galician biotechnology strategy. I think Vilariño mentioned it before. Biotechnology is growing fast in our region. We have strong activity in health and marine resources, also in agri-food and industrial biotech. So I think working together with other institutions, for example, with the research institutions and companies, it can help us to advance in different areas under this strategy. We started the biotechnology strategy of Galicia 10 years ago. This is our second 5 years strategy. We are in the last year of the second strategy, and we are preparing the next 5 years strategy with the support of Bioga, in this case, and the whole ecosystem. We also see strong synergies between Galicia and Ireland through the priorities that we have in our smart specialization strategy. Both regions focus on blue economy, digital transformation, sustainable food systems, and of course, artificial intelligence applied to all these areas. These shared priorities create natural opportunities for joint projects for marine technology, smart farming, health, and green energy, among others. So I think we have a lot of things in common in this area. And in order to make this collaboration real, we need several instruments from our region, so also European instruments. For example, I'm sure we are collaborating under Horizon Europe, one of the most important tools to support this kind of collaborative projects on health and climate, energy, any of the areas that I mentioned before. Also, the Interreg Atlantic area, I saw in the presentation that some of the projects are funded by Interreg Atlantic area, so this program allows us to connect this interest and to collaborate in innovation sustainably and other topics. We have also other European opportunities to collaborate, but also we can, from Galicia, the regional government try to support this participation of our research groups companies, and especially the small and medium enterprises in European programs in order they can be more competitive at European international level. Well, today we have a great delegation of representatives from Galicia organizations that are taking part in these workshops, in this visit. So this part of these organizations are collaborating. I can say all of them are collaborating with our strategies, defining the research and innovation plan, the biotechnology strategy, etc. So it's great to know that at this moment you are exchanging this kind of knowledge and creating probably new opportunities for collaboration. And we will be very happy to have you here in Galicia in coming months in order to discover our ecosystem, visit our research centers, our companies, and then we are open to collaborate in these areas. And of course, you are invited to visit Galicia. We will be very happy to prepare some visits and demonstrations because as was said before, this is the best way to see the potential collaborations and the infrastructures and the possibilities to create new projects. So the most important for us is always the people, our researchers and companies and institutions, and then we try to support them and try to create this kind of connections for them. So I'm sure that this collaboration can continue and we can develop more joint projects, even share some infrastructures, exchange talent, and create these strong partnerships between both regions. So from my side, only say thank you again for this initiative, for trying to put together different stakeholders that have potential for collaborate and for create some projects and produce real impact for the economy and for the society. So let's continue building this bridge across the ocean, and thank you very much for inviting me. And so sorry, I would like to to be there at this moment and go for a beer that you have just after this talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Villa from
Yes.
Bioga.
Thank you.
Feel free to start. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to Alfonso because I know that it was very hard to prepare this day, this little congress. And we start to work with him to achieve that. We have here some representation. Here, I am because of two reasons. The first of all is because I am the president of the biotechnology cluster of Galicia, and also I am the research director of the brewery company Estrella Galicia. First, I'm going to talk like the president of the biotechnology cluster. One of the reasons to be here is because, like Alfonso said at the beginning, Galicia and Ireland has several things in common. Maybe the most important economy reasons is the migration. During a lot of years from Ireland and also from Galicia, we have a lot of migration. It's very nice to see that here in Ireland now is a land of opportunities, and there is a lot of Galician people working here that they found their place to create something and to work. In Galicia, we have not Irish people. Maybe, not maybe, the reason is that we are behind you. We are trying with Bioga, with our cluster, to create opportunities for our people, because if the people want to go out to learn and to start to work, it's a good thing. But if they cannot back, it's a bad thing. We need to create opportunities. We need to create collaborations to achieve that our region can align for Irish people and for other parts of Europe, and of course for the Galician to come back if they want. No? But some of them are very happy here, like Alfonso, I think, and it's going to be difficult to come back with him. Well, which is Bioga? Bioga is a cluster, it's a groupation of biotechnology companies in Galicia. At this moment, we have more than 140 members because we have some associates in the last weeks at the end of the year. We have companies, universities, technology centers, different kinds of associations. For example, the last one is the biotechnology cluster of the North Carolina in the United States. Because at this moment we are trying to achieve a more international representation. We start with the cluster in 2010. The last week we celebrate our 15th anniversary with a very nice concert. During these days, we start to work at the beginning with only 3 companies, but in the 5 years, we pass from 35 companies to nowadays these 145 companies at this moment. It was some question that it produced this peak of companies that is growing a lot during these years. At this moment, we represent the 3% of the economy in Galicia with more than 6,000 jobs and a revenue of 3 billion of euros. Therefore, we can start to talk that is a sector that 25 years ago, it was represented by only 2 companies in Galicia. Like I said, during these last years, we are growing nice. The biotechnology in Galicia, of course, has several branches, but I think that we can be leaders in 3 aspects. In drug discovery, we have a lot of spin-offs from the University of Santiago de Compostela that are working very hard in drug discovery, in the biomedicine, but also in food biotech and in the blue economy, all the aspects. And we have nice companies working in biotechnology in the blue economy. We work not only with companies, we work a lot also with the students, with the talent. Like I said at the beginning, one of our reasons is to create opportunities for the young people. And we work in very different aspects, trying to create these opportunities to attract investment for the little spin-offs and the startups that are going to be created in our region. And of course, with the now all the aspects with the digital approximation of these companies. Into the talent, at this moment we have the curriculums database in the biotechnology field bigger in Spain, with more than 6,000 candidates in our database, because a lot of students from all Spain are applying in our database. But also we have the, I think that is, yes, the first biotechnology master MBA in Spain. After talking with the universities of Coruña, Santiago, Vigo, we want to create this master because we thought that it is necessary for the biotechnology companies some aspects that are not normally covered for the MBA, the typical MBA. And with the creation of this master, the last year, we have a great success, and it's completely focused in the creation of new startups and spin-offs. We also work in training with young people, with doctoral studies, and of course with companies. And at this moment, we have a nice collaboration between our companies with the universities. We are a special key in the region to produce these interactions. We also give different awards. It's difficult to explain which is the atmosphere of our events. It's necessary to be here, because I think that one of the things that is working in a nice way in our region is that we are outlying region. It's more or less like Ireland at this moment. We are far from the banana economic of Europe, no? From London, Germany, Netherlands, and all these things. And all people see that it's impossible to do this alone. And we have a lot of collaboration between the universities, the technological centers, and of course the companies. And we create this with some tools. We are in the project from the beginning of the Biopolo Fasionja. This is a first biotechnological hub in Galicia, created for 18 labs, for 18 spin-offs to facilitate the creation of these companies. And of course, trying to attract venture capital for our companies. This is hard. If you know some venture capital funds here in Ireland, we keep in contact with me, because it's very nice to receive the money from other parts of the world. The attraction of the investors is hard, but we make a program every year that is like a fast master with the spin-offs. During 2 months, we give some classes to learn to present their projects, to make the pitch in front of the investors, what they want, what they need to invest their money. It's a very nice project. I think that we have, I don't know, I put this 11 editions, and it's working very, very, very well. At this moment, we have contact with 25 countries in the world with different missions. this afternoon in the embassy, I'm going to try to produce that companies from Galicia came here to Ireland in an economic mission, and at the same time, we are going to try that Irish companies came to Galicia to know our projects, because I think that is the easiest way to know to the other people to facilitate the contacts. And of course, we participate in a lot of fair and events like a community, like you can see in this photo. This is the representation of the Galicia sector in the last BioSpain Fair Trade in Barcelona. We have, yes, of course, different commercial missions. This is in USA, also in Scotland, Japan, and Italy during this year. We also collaborate with the European collaboration, with the European Cluster Collaboration Platform in Brussels, and in different international and Interreg projects. At this moment, we have finished a very nice project in representing to all the Ibero Bio in a POCTEC project that it was key for the for different aspects and to increase the collaboration with Portugal. That is the things that we're trying to do. At this moment, Martina presents the BioChange Atlantic project also, that there are 3 partners from here, from Ireland. And I would like to show you, because, yes, this event to end, because it's a very nice event, the Galicia Bio Days. The next year is going to be in May 6 and 7. It's going to be a very nice event. At this moment, I think that is the professional congress bigger in Spain, with more than 400 biotechnology companies in Vigo. And it's a very good moment to know which are doing in Galicia with our companies, and to facilitate the contact with our spin-offs and the startups. I invite you to come, because I think that if you do it, it's going to be nice for you also. And it's a good way to know that we are doing. Just like I said, save the date. If you want to come, if you want to collaborate with some Galician company, I can facilitate, because most of all call me friend, some not maybe, but most of all, yes, they consider me a friend, and it's a very easy way to know to someone in Galicia. And I want to pass this fast, because I want to present, yes, the other reasons to be here. I have the problem that I speak very fast in Spanish, and I try to do the same in English, and it's difficult to me. Yes, that, like I said, I also the R&D director in Estrella Galicia, and I want to say something, because then you are going to taste our beers. Most of you already know us, but we are a brewing company from 1906. We have more than a century in A Coruña, just in the north of Spain, just in the corner. We are a very innovative company from the beginning. This is not only because I said, this is because we made some things different to the other companies. This is a good example. We were talking a lot about the marine industry, and we have some different beers that we produce in a limited edition, like I don't know the name of Percebes in English. Yes, we made a beer with barnacles, yes, and Codium algae also, because this kind of seafood is very traditional and very famous in Galicia. This beer, when we put on the shelf, it was like the, I don't know, the tickets of a U2 concert. In a few more than half an hour, all the beers were sold. The system fall down, and yes, it was amazing. We sold all the beers, like I said, in I don't know, 40 minutes more or less of the limited edition. We also produce some of them with peppers, also with octopus. We try to do some different things. Some of them are a little bit crazy to, it's finally by marketing to attract the attention and to defend the craft spirit of the company. Some of them are looking for a very nice beer. I also introduced this one because it's the Galician Irish Red Ale. It's a beer that we produce in collaboration with the Carlos company, the Carlos Brewery company, that is an Ireland company, that at this moment we are in a joint venture with them. We have, I think that is the 35% of the company here. They produce the O'Hara's beer, and 7 years ago we made a beer in collaboration with the two beer masters of the O'Hara's and from Estrella Galicia, and they produced this. The original name was the Galician Irish Red, the Pelirroja? Yeah, the red hair beer, yes, and finally, after this limited edition that it works very well, we introduced in our portfolio the Galician Irish Red, and it's one of the nicest beer that we have. It's an example of a nice collaboration between these cultures, because the idea to introduce to be part of this company was because when this company tried to start in the international market, they said that Ireland was the nice country to be the first one. No, this is an example. Well, in this company we try to innovate. Making the joke with from the farm to the fork, we talk that we innovate from the field to the glass, because we work with different raw materials, also with the production of the beer, and of course with the service to the market, with the hostelry, the bars, and all our collaborators. We have a lot of partners, of course, ANFACO, like Martina presented before, but also with the 3 universities of Galicia and a lot of spin-offs and startups from Spain. Between the lines, we work with raw materials, digital transformation, growing systems, but for you, the most important part is the biotechnology research. We work with different bioactive molecules, looking for the future in the food as medicine concept, not to treat some ills. We are trying to produce some beverage that can help to protect ourselves. To do this, we work with precision fermentation and enzymatic hydrolysis of different nice cereals, some ancestral cereals, some of them that they are not used nowadays because their production is not very high, but it seems that they have nice properties to work with them. And I would like also, yes, between our projects, we recover some of the antique cultures in Galicia, like the hop growing, and also the barley, and we introduce also the cultivation of indoor hop growing. And I would like to make reference to some nice projects. I can only talk about the finished projects. This one was very nice because with our still water brands, we produce the first compostable bottle in Europe with a bottle of PLA that we use in the paddock of Formula One and concerts. In some events, we present this bottle to avoid the waste of these materials. We also, after several years of research, we achieved the possibility to produce vegan protein from our bagasse. At this moment, we are working in the production of this new company that is in proteins, that is going to be the biggest protein plant-based in Spain, but also the biggest in Europe, producing plant-based protein from byproducts, because they are going to use our bagasse. And this company, well, this factory at this moment is now, I think that is going to be end in June of the 2026. And also a very nice base project that we use. We made the first use of a quantic computer in Europe, the second in the world after the use that IBM made from the Albatros computer in New York. And we use the Cumio, that is the quantic computer in the Supercomputing Center in Galicia, and for a project that is to simulate the perception of taste with different ingredients of the hope. And we made it with quantic algorithms to can work with this computer. Some different projects. We have the possibility to make research in a food company in Spain. It's not easy, it's not the normal. And we have a nice budget to do this kind of projects that are quite difficult to do. And that's all for the moment. Then if you want to ask me something, it's okay. Sorry.